We're now live. Alive. All right. All right. We're live again. Sorry. Again. We the breath of life has been. Oh, there's a lot of reverb here. Sorry, folks. We're in the tech world and things are different. So, Jeff, you want to come in and tell me what to do here? Sorry, folks. Just be patient.
This is live, happening right now.
Start again. Okay, does that make mine any clearer? Okay, headsets are best then. Are
Hello? Hello, hello, I'm back. Yep, I see that as well. Are we no longer live, Jeff? I can't. Can you hear me? He said he's going to go out and come back in. Are we still live, Jeff? Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's me. Some folks are weighing in saying they can still hear us. Okay. Hey, hello again, all. We're working things out over here. This is how we're communicating these days, and it's a blessing that we have it, and sometimes it comes with some challenges. So I'm going to read the prayer over again that I read, Joel Goldsmith's words here, and then we can jump into the awesomeness that is in store for us right now. So again, if you just take a deep breath, the Christ within me is my assurance that only it has power. The sonship and daughtership of God, the Spirit of God in me. I will never leave me, it will never leave me nor forsake me, as long as I realize and recognize it, and as long as I live the life that it tells me to live. I look to it for guidance. I look to it for wisdom. Whenever a question is presented to my mind, I look down toward my heart, and the answer comes forth. And I'm not sure if I can be heard still. Am I still here?
Hello there.
Hi.
Okay, we still
Are
have
we
bad
there?
echoes. I can hear you. We've
Okay.
both got echoes. I'm not sure if we're live or not.
Let me get one.
We are
Okay.
live. Complete with echoes or no?
I don't hear it anymore.
Okay, good. All right. Well, then I'll go back to what I started for. Hi, Charles.
Let's hi. Let's go back to it again. Absolutely.
Better late. Orderly thing.
Uh, Jeff, are you there? Hello. I'm. It looks like I can be heard, but I can't hear me or anybody else anymore. So I'm happy having a conversation with myself on camera with you folks and see what happens here. Good. Okay. So what Dr. Joe and I were talking about a little bit earlier, after I did that opening prayer, there was we both kind of feeling a little dreary this morning. That as emotional characters, as human beings, we are emotional characters, and that means we feel. And I think especially in a time like this, which most of us haven't experienced something like this, it can start taking a toll a little bit. I mean, generally speaking, my spirit is very good. It's happy, healthy, and whole. And sometimes on that emotional plane, it becomes very challenging to keep our spiritual sanity, if you will. There's Dr. Joe.
I'm going to let you talk, Charles, because every time I talk, I get bumped out. So
is this part of the transition plan?
I guess. I was trying to just say, it's really funny. Charles and I were sharing this morning that both he and I were feeling this, kind of downtime. And it was funny because I looked onto my Facebook and a couple other people have reached out and said, has anyone else found themselves a little emotional today, or that things were a little bit off? And maybe it's just part of this journey that we're on where we go into these ebbs and flows, and we're up and we're down. But disciplined thinking is the only thing that's going to get us out of it, because if we align ourselves with that emotional roller coaster, we definitely go for the ride. So that's what I was thinking. I was just thinking about, seek ye first the kingdom, and it's very easy to forget the king.
Dr. Joe Freeze up there again. Well, I can't hear him. Am I still here? Yep. Okay. Well, I'll just, pick up. Because I think we're kind of the same space to a large extent right now. And I love what Dr. Joe said, that we don't want to go on the emotional roller coaster, because if you strap in for that, you can. But also, we do feel things. It's undeniable. As a human being in the human condition, we experience. We have experience the world of phenomenon. And but I also love what Dr. Joe said. It's about disciplined thinking. And if we can discipline our mind and drop our mind into our heart, that's beyond emotion, that's beyond the feeling body, the emotional body, into the truth aspect of our heart, then it's easy for me to come back to perceiving the blessings that are occurring right now. The blessings of peace, the blessings of stillness, the blessings of family, and being fully present and things like that, rather than going on that emotional roller coaster, which even in times when we're not quarantined, is never fun. It only makes it more intense when we are kind of everybody to their own corner. So there's a time to break down. It happens for everybody. And there's a time to, with your car, if you let your car go for too long without getting the oil changed and the tune-ups and the maintenance, which in the spiritual level is prayer support and working with a practitioner and having your team in place, and acts of love and service and kindness, things like that, then breakdowns happen much less frequently. But they do happen, and it's breakdown, whatever you want to call it. It's not I don't want to put any sort of negative air to it. It's just something that happens, challenging times, times when we really wonder and question, and we're really living deeply in the mystery, without any answers, So what answers do we have right now? We really don't have a lot. People are working on solution, but there isn't a lot of solution being offered right now, except do what we can to take care of ourselves and each other. So even in the midst of the time when we're having get like an emotional hook, getting hooked in, this morning it was just, God, it was really hard to get out of bed. It was there's another day of this now. How creative can I be today to not make it through, but to have it be a lovely day? So one of the things that was awesome is Mila, my daughter, we got some pancake mix yesterday, and what did she wake up excited to do? Make pancakes. So that's one of the things that we did in our household this morning to get the engine going and get things moving, as we made pancakes and bacon, and the smell of it is still in the house. And so that's in this moment, sitting here with you, our beautiful spiritual family, that's one of the things that's pulling me through. So I think that's one of the blessings too here in the midst of all of this is the little things, right, that we probably aren't paying a whole lot of attention to normally, that I don't sometimes pay a lot of attention to. Those little things that make a difference. Right now, the smell of pancakes in the house that my daughter cooked, and the lingering smell of that. 10 minutes of snuggle time on the couch after she woke up to start the day. I mean, these are beautiful moments. And that love, that's my tune-up for the day to get me going. How can I sit snuggled up with my beautiful 6-year-old daughter, for a few minutes on the couch and not be retuned? I'm just so grateful for that. Retuned to what's really happening, and that is that the power and the presence and the love of God is alive and well now, and we're still being blessed by it. So let my thinking be disciplined today for the rest of the day, to be in tune with that, and to be in tune with this great prayer from Joel Goldsmith. That let me drop into my heart, into that Christ space, and listen for answers from there, and I will be informed with what is necessary. So, Dr. Joe, is that you? Are you there? Was for a moment and frozen again. Anybody want to hop in the conversation? How are you doing out there? What's happening in your worlds? Jeff, do we have any? Can we gather up some feedback, some input, some questions, how's everybody doing? Flying high, laying low, feeling the strain, feeling blessed, aware of your blessings. I get to sit right here in front of this window, and I look out and I see the mountains. I believe those are the San Jacintos, and they're so beautiful. It's an inspiring look. So I'm grateful for having that view, along with my face on this screen, being with all of you. What's happening out there? How's everybody feeling? What's going on in your world? Is there a piece of literature that you're being sustained by right now? Or a book, a prayer, et cetera, et cetera. Jeff, I heard you breathe. What's going on? It was in. Okay. I shall. Let's see. We've been doing. There's a hike around here. It's called the hike up to the cross, or we call it the crosswalk. There's this big cross that's up in the mountains, and it lights up at night, and it's beautiful. We've been doing it a few times during the day, and it's decently rigorous. It's not long, but there's some decent uphills to it. And when we do it, I use it as a prayer, and then it's like what is life? What are the ingredients of life? There's struggle, joy, challenge, love, the mystery, a vision, some things that we want to grow into, things that we want to become, things that bring joy to our lives. And I was particularly mindful on one of our walks of the walk up to the cross being analogous to that. That there's the moments where the legs burn, the moments where the lungs burn a little bit. But through this entire hike, you can see the cross. And so the vision is always there to behold. There's the destination, that's the growing into. And even in the midst of this morning, as I mentioned, the challenge, that it was hard to wake up this morning. It's tough to get out of bed. Oh no, here's another day. So that can be likened to my legs burning on a hike. That can be likened to my lungs burning. But at the same time, there's this something else that's informing me that there's my destination. I can see it. And so even once I achieve that destination, and there's the fulfillment and the joy of reaching at, taking a deep breath, gathering some rest, beholding the view over this beautiful, magnificent Coachella Valley, beholding the view. And then even though I reached that particular destination, there's something else that's calling me forward again. And that's the hike back down to get into my car. And so there are these things that continue to call us forth. That's what we want to welcome them, a vision to behold. Dr. Joe and I don't know if you quite got to it in his reading, but always seek first the kingdom of heaven, seek first the kingdom of God. And when we do that, that becomes our vision. Because as we're seeking it within the kingdom of God, there is a greater fulfillment that we can always achieve. It's like a two-pronged thing. Be blessed where we are, but also in seeking first the kingdom of heaven that is within us, we find a very tangible peace that we can experience and another vision to behold. So on the walk, it's the cross, get to the cross, then it's the car on the way back down, and the experience that happens during both of those journeys. And aren't we on such a journey right now? You know, but there is a vision to behold, a more empowered world, a more fulfilled you, a more fulfilled me, a world filled with greater appreciation. Isn't that something? A world filled with greater appreciation for each other, for what's here, for to start to break down some of these ugly things that have started happening here in our country and around the world over the past few years. You know, the racism that's come up, and the homophobia, and so many the sicknesses that have existed within the othernesses, the isms that can take a hold of our awareness, that can affect the discipline of our thinking, that can take us off of our stride in walking in and with the kingdom of heaven. And we're healing these things, you know, we're healing them, these othernesses. There's an appreciation that's being born inside of all of us, that's being born inside of me. There's a joy that is seeking to reveal itself even more. And so even like this morning in those times, there's, oh man, here we go again, another day of this crap, another day of, you know, fill in the blank. As I mentioned, there's still those seeds of joy that brought me out of my sense of otherness this morning into a greater joy. And even when we were, you know, working this out, just to see Dr. Joe's face, you know, I wish I could see so many of your faces. The cuddle time with my daughter, the pancakes, all that stuff are things that still, those are joy moments. Those are visions of the kingdom of heaven that we can live into and grow into, that can bless, certainly have blessed me today. Hey, Dr. Joe, is that you there now? There he is. I see you. I can. Hey. We can hear you. I can hear you. So,
Or did we kind of lose everybody? Bring it on.
love it.
That's any kind of little hints like that or tips are wonderful, because I think people really are. Sometimes we feel like we're at the end of our rope and someone gives you something to hang on to. It's like, oh, you know what? But hey, Charles, I managed to hear about something about pancakes and bacon and stuff like that. I heard that, and then suddenly I froze, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I supposed to hear that or go eat breakfast? So, yeah, sometimes the tips that people give one another, like we've been FaceTiming a lot of people for dinner so that we're not, especially people who are alone, who don't have anyone else in the house. So we do a lot of that communication over mealtime, especially because I think a lot of people are by themselves and they're like, you know, I don't know how to deal with all this loneliness. I don't know how to deal with all this alone time. So that's what we're doing. But thank you for the tip. I think that's great. Anybody else?
Amen.
Yay.
Right.
That's it. One of two things is going to happen here. People are either going to get very close or they're going to be good. So yeah, no, that's great. I'm so happy for you. This is a time to do that. This is a time to get closer to your family, anybody that's in the house, and to actually reach out to people who normally are so busy in their life. You can't get them. You can't reach them. So yeah. No, I totally get that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my answer today. Is going to be getting some exercise and moving my body, because if I stay stationary, if I keep things the same, they'll come out the same. So I have to do something different to get a different result. I can't continue doing what I'm doing and expecting something different to pop up. So it's now time. Truly, it's my time to get out and walk or ride the bike or do something to exercise. So again, I totally agree. You've got a great strategy going.
That moves the energy big time. Yep. Yes. Joel Goldsmith's just statement of truth after statement of truth. Talk about somebody who sought first the kingdom of heaven and then was so generous to report back his findings. That's a beauty too. You know, that's what I think. That's one of the things, Dr. Joe, what do you think? And we're having these conversations now, but when this time passes, how great would it be for us to get together and have a couple, I haven't cleared this with him, I'm just throwing an idea out, a couple town hall meetings saying what are the ways you were blessed during this time? And we can build faith out of that as well as a community. You know, how did you see first the kingdom?
This is going to change what we do. And I think it's going to change what we do when we were talking about that last night. What's it going to be like when we all get together in a room? How's that going to feel? How's that going to, you know, what's that going to be like? It's going to be great. And I think it does give us an opportunity to examine how we're going to do business going forward in our community, online as well as in person, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great. So what I heard was that the comment that was just made is that folks, that it's time to get creative right now in how we're gathering. And the person's comment was that they're planning a Zoom Easter dinner together for a couple of weeks. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think, again, it's about creating a virtual community with your own family. We had a family conference call on Sunday afternoon where, you know, I have nieces that are in DC area, other ones are in Northern California. So we were all over it. We had a family Zoom call. We haven't done that yet. And it was just great to see their faces and to see their kids and to hear what they're up to, and to hear their strategies, their successes, and what they need help with, and actually asking them, saying, is there anything we can do to help support you? Because, you know, a lot of people don't ask that question. I think it's necessary that we kind of ask that question now. What can I do to support you? What can I do to help you get through this time? I think it's important that we all extend ourselves more than we have in the past. Certainly we have the time to do that, and we have to do it within the guidelines of where we live and what we're supposed to be doing as a community. But again, it's just the offering to say, how can I support you? How can I support you? And usually it's just, talk to me. You know, talk to me.
Yep.
Identify
Human connection. Isn't that something that's something that I'm naturally, I'm a touchy feely guy. I got it from my dad, you know, until the day he died. He kissed us, all three of my brother, my sister, and I, on our lips, you know, until that was just, he was very affectionate. And I think for a number of people too, there's going to be a more acute awareness of our human connection. I'm not saying, you know, everybody's going to want to go around hugging and kissing everybody all of a sudden, but just that human element, you know, and certainly being able to see faces right now is a beautiful thing, but just that aspect of how important it is for us to gather as well and be there for each other, support and love and all of those wonderful things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else, Jeff? Did we lose Jeff?
That'd make the trifecta. Oh.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Repeat the question. Yeah. So the question / comment was that these folks are experiencing financial challenge right now, and also their car was just stolen. And so the comment was, we're seeing what's important is friends and family. And I think a big question is what is important right now? And how do we maintain our sanity? Finances are a huge deal for people. It's no secret. I mean, money's one of the core things that gets people plugged in. It's interesting in the spiritual economics material we covered a few weeks ago was, what brings people the most joy? Money. What brings people the most challenge? Money. What do people obsess about the most? Money. And so let me first start by saying I have a tremendous amount of compassion for you and your family. And I know that gratitude has mass to it. And so what, in the midst of financial challenge right now, can you find to be grateful for? It's not to deny the fact that you're being challenged, but what can you be grateful for that you have? And in that gratitude, a new castle can be built, if you will. A new kingdom of heaven can be built from the foundation of gratitude. So it could be that in any construction project, one of the first things that happens is excavation. That what was there, you either tear that down, or if it's an empty piece of land, you have to go down in order to start to build up. And that's it's not the most creative part of the whole thing. It's certainly not the sexiest part of the whole thing, but it's a necessary part of it. And so perhaps you're in the midst of that process right now and can't see the end result yet. What I want to keep coming back to, though, is a compassion. I know Dr. Joe and our community have a tremendous amount of compassion for folks that are experiencing financial challenge right now. But I also know, I promise you, that if you can go and create that foundation of gratitude, that life will renew you from within, so that you begin to see a new kingdom that's being built in through and as your life and that of your family. Dr. Joe?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, and I appreciate the fact that you said you're very grateful for the services that we've been able to provide for you online at this point. So I know that you're recognizing the power of gratitude, and like Charles said, this too shall pass, and other things will come forward. And you know what? I keep remembering something that Dr. Tom used to say. We've never had this many issues arise at one time, where we've had this lock-in and the financial crisis. But he always said, the sun will always rise over Indio every morning. He said, every time you look out there, the sun's going to rise tomorrow, and there's going to be another day. And so there will be another day. And when we wake up in the morning, we get to decide how that's going to unfold in our consciousness. And through challenge, the sun's going to rise up again today, and again and again and again. And every single day that sun's coming up, which gives us an opportunity. Just keep going, keep moving. Things will pan out. Things will work out. We just have to keep working them. Yes. So Jeff, I know that people can't hear when Jeff is talking to us. So Jeff, do you have a question? And I'll repeat it for you. Okay. Except I can't see that. It's like you'll be going like this. I'll have a giant face in the screen if you want me to read that. So go ahead and read it for me, Jeff. Okay. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're seeing them now, and I think we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. We're seeing people come together in ways that they've never come together before. We see people supporting one another in ways we've never seen them support one another. We see, when I look at the good part about the social media aspect and the internet and real-time thing is we can see people actually, getting out on their balconies and singing happy birthday to one another and having drive-by birthday parties where they have to be isolated, but they can go by and say happy birthday to grandma. I think it's going to develop a sense of true appreciation for when the times that we can be in each other's presence. I think that's going to be a huge one. that, the absence of touch and the absence of, face-to-face communication in person, we won't take that for granted anymore. I think one of the long-lasting effects will be that we've seen, people who are, and I used to be this way, really high-strung and, racing from thing to thing, and the kids and the soccer and this and scheduling themselves within literally every minute of the day. And I think we're going to see people try to back off that a little bit because they see the balance of also having some downtime with the family and importance of connecting with their own family and their own kids and their own, friends and things like that. So I also think that's going to be the great equalizer. I think that we're going to be looking at, there are no borders in this dis-ease. There are no borders. It's just something that it's impacting everyone. And I think that we have a unique opportunity to see it as the great unifier. And I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again, because I just know what I'm watching around the world. It's happening here. It's happening there. There's no borders. There's no distinction. It's happening to all of us. It's happening to humanity. And I think that's going to develop a sense of alignment and unity with other people. Charles, what do you think?
Yeah, I hop on all of that with a big fat yes, and also it's the catalyst for a spiritual evolution. I think it's been maybe a little bit since we've had a good one, a spiritual evolution, and out of this, individuals and communities are going to reconnect deeply with their spirit, and I believe that means simultaneously connecting deeply. To me, it's one and the same. We're going to connect deeply again with our spirit, which also means we're going to connect deeply with our humanity and the best parts of our humanity. The most beautiful parts of our humanity are our poetry, our art, our self-expression, our creativity. And so it's definitely a catalyst for spiritual evolution. Spiritual evolution is happening now, where we're going to be more in touch with who we are, where we come from, and that this life is precious and to be embraced and shared, and that will again, as I mentioned before, I'm not sure, Dr. Joe, if you were on at that point, but I think it's going to continue to be a breakdown for a lot of these isms, the othernesses that we have, the ways that we keep ourselves separate from each other. It's going to cultivate a lot more curiosity about each other, and that curiosity leads to understanding. Understanding breaks down barriers, and so there's a revolution of curiosity that will be taking place as well, that I see and I'm very hopeful about.
I also think we're going to look back and go, how strong we were to go through this. How people thought they could never go through this when we say, 2 weeks of isolation, now 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 10 weeks, whatever the number of weeks it's going to be. A lot of people are going to say, I did that. We made it through that. I think it's going to be a very empowering thing for people to realize we got through this. So I think we're going to have a lot of empowered people. I'm praying that this brings forward a lot more people who are empowered with themselves, connected to others, and see a connectivity and a unity with all people. So that's what I think is going to be. That's what I'm praying is the long-lasting effect of this, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yep.
Jeff, got another one? Yeah, we'll let Charles close with that one. How's that?
You bet.
By the way, thank you, Jeff. I know it's a challenge to go through all this. The world of technology, it's pulling us in right now. We have to embrace this. This is good.
Discipline.
Yeah, exactly what I said from the get-go. The kingdom of heaven is disciplined, and it will require us to go back to the strength that we had to move through this and the discipline to make things a priority. I mean, we're learning to prioritize things. I mean, we've prioritized, look at how basic this has become. We have prioritized toilet paper. That's a big thing. when you think about it, toilet paper has become a big thing. And now we'll never walk past that toilet paper, that shelf again, without thinking to ourselves, we have started literally at that place. So I think how we go back after this is we're going to be looking at everything differently. I think it's going to be a constant reminder. I mean, I don't know about, excuse me, I don't know about you, Charles, but when I'm watching TV shows and I'm watching people hug each other or give them, they do high fives, or, you know, like on American Idol, they go and it touches everybody's hands. And of course, now I'm going, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that. But it's like in the future, when we have the opportunity to do that, how are we going to be? How do we choose to look at ourselves? That's one of the talks that I've been doing on Sundays. How do we want to view this from the other side of this? And I think it's going to be an individual choice of how we view ourselves in our own lives and in the bigger picture. And then I think as a spiritual community, we're going to say, how did we do? And how could we, you know, how did we service our community? What could we do better? What could we add? Or, you know, it's going to be an opportunity for every organization, every business who has been saying, no, you can't work from home. Maybe they're going to go, well, you know what? We see that you were able to work from home and get your work done, and that's a priority for your family. So maybe, just maybe, some of these avenues will be open unto us that weren't open before. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm praying for.
Yeah. And even too, Dr. Joe, as I say the word discipline, sorry, Jeff, not quite right. I want to share a couple thoughts about that real quick. And as we've talked about before, after you, like, it doesn't take any discipline for me to practice 2 + 2 = 4, right? It's just, it is. It's the simplest thing for me to execute. It would take discipline for me to go out right now and run 10 miles every morning. I mean, that's not discipline. I have resistance to that, right? But once we know something, you can't unknow it. And so the things that are going to be as part of the revolution that's taking place right now, all the new things that we're going to come to know, you can't unknow those things just because this pandemic has passed.
Yeah.
So it'll still be easy to practice those things, which is why I say keep your heart open for revelation. Joel Goldsmith says, I look down toward my heart and the answer comes forth in whatever form is necessary. Whatever answer you get will become a truth for you. And it's easy to practice. It's much easier to practice truth because then you know something and you can't unknow it after that. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, Jeff. Really keep me going, Jeff. I lost you.
Yeah. Thank you, eager person.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay, I got it now. Thank you. Jeff, is there any more? Well, I definitely think that when we start looking at the whole overreaching political and social implications of this, there's an awakening going on there as well. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's interesting. It's just interesting that for the first time in a long time, both sides of the aisle were able to recognize here in the United States the importance of supporting all people in this. And so, you know, not to get into the political nature, but it was really nice to see that all people, including like before, like our musicians would not be able to, because they lost all their gigs, they wouldn't be able to collect unemployment, but now they can. So I think that there's this recognition that this exists out here and we need to take care of them because they are a vital part of our, you know, social economy. And I'm thinking that maybe this is going to be an eye-opening experience for some people. Of course, it will become a debate back and forth. But for now, I'm just glad to see that there's a recognition of that. So does that make sense? I hope.
Pardon me.
What am I looking at? Okay, got it. No more questions at this time? Okay. I think I covered what I wanted to cover today, Charles. I don't know if you did. I know you want to close with the Joel Goldsmith prayer, but again, take this opportunity Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. We're teaching the power of decision. Tuesday, we did this. This coming Thursday, we have Karen Drucker and I are going to do like we did with Levi last week and just have a concert and conversation. And that will be held at 10 o'clock. All of our things are at 10 o'clock. In fact, going forward, I think I'm going to discuss with the whole team about just doing a 10 o'clock service on Sunday and broadcasting one so that everything we do is always at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if for those of you can hear me, we're probably going to have some secondary offerings in the afternoons that will be done by some of our practitioners and other ministers. So those will be announced soon. We're putting those things together now in those final touches. So there'll be plenty of opportunity for you to log in and, again, at 10 o'clock in the morning. I want to think, I said, remember when you took driver's ed and your hands were supposed to be on the 10 o'clock or the 2 o'clock so you could steer properly. So part of my logic was let's do something at 10 and something at 2 so that you're really able to steer through this whole process. And we're giving you the tools to do that. So that's kind of what's a glimpse of the future, and you'll be hearing a lot more. So keep in touch. If you're not logged into our YouTube and join our YouTube to get notifications, do that. Continue to watch Facebook and check the website. That's the best things you can do. Also, we'll have a support button if you want to contribute to the center. This is a wonderful time to do that. We continue to have our expenses, and if at all possible, every single penny counts. And so we're blessing all of you who've taken an opportunity to log in and to continue to give to the center and give abundantly. So please continue to show your support. We love that and we appreciate it. And we just know that by supporting us, you're supporting our community and yourself so that we're able to continue to sustain and maintain the programs that we're doing even right now. So again, thank you very much. And Charles, do you want to pray us out?
I will, yeah. And I'll also add on to that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'll also add on to that as well, that if you folks that are listening know of anyone that would benefit from our center's offerings, Dr. Joe's classes, our conversations, any other material that we're going to be offering in the coming weeks and months, please direct them to our website and invite them to, if they have internet access, invite them to be part of our, to join up on our e-community, basically, because we're constantly sending out notifications about things that are happening as well. So if you know of someone that we can be support to, please invite them to go sign up for our notifications that we send out often. So here is the prayer from Goldsmith again, and this is from Practicing the Presence. The Christ within me is my assurance that only it has power. The Son, the daughter of God, the Spirit of God in me. It will never leave me nor forsake me as long as I realize and recognize it, and as long as I live the life that it tells me to live. I look to it for guidance. I look to it for wisdom. Whenever a question is presented to my mind, I look down toward my heart, and the answer comes forth in whatever form is necessary. And so it is.
So it is. All right, folks, see you tomorrow for Power Decision at 10 a.m. and then back on Thursday with Karen Drucker. So we'll see you then. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye, everybody.